Record your tip like we do every night. The bevels on this one as well. But even though I'm forging out the bevels, you still want to start with a fairly symmetrical shape. Okay, so I'm just going to finalize the profile. Like you do normally. But notice how I'm not going very far. Turn around. Do the same to the other side. See, we've got the start of two choils. Now what we're going to do is follow it up for the next heat. Like a normal knife, forge it out. It starts the banana. When I do the other side, that's going to straighten itself. Now we forge the other side. Wonder upon wonder, look, it's going straight. little hot. You can see the scaling coming off quite badly. Shouldn't work it so hot. It's slightly cooler than this. That straight. So now I'm just going over it all again, refining it, trying to get that line in the middle, the spine. So I'll only forge on one side. See how it's starting to banana again. Nice. Now do the other side. Quite nicely. It's all straight. It's not perfectly straight this way. It's got a slight curve in it. So I'm just going to reprofile it. It's not very hot. Okay, there you go. The lines are parallel. But now the tip is going to one side. So I want to fix the tip. Okay, so it's leaning slightly that way. So just perfect. That's all it needs. And I don't feel a need to go over it again. I'm happy with the shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a full tang. So I'm going to cut it off here, and we're going to flare out the tang like that. So you're going to flare it out. Make it too long than too short. Oh, some miss. Okay, thank you. There you go. Give me $10 and I'll lick it. Yep. You don't believe me? Okay, so I'm putting in a distal taper, and the natural side effect of the distal taper is to flare it out. What I'll do is I'll actually grind that. I'm not going to waste too much time. when you're doing knives, you've got to work out the balance between, is it worth grinding it? So is it worth forging it out, or can I just fix it with a grinder in 5 seconds, you know? So I could spend another 3 heats and perfect it, or I could just say, oh, we're done, and grind it out. If you want to go real traditional bladesmithing, then yes, by all means, forge it out, but I got to make money, you know? There's a picture of a woman in a Ferrari. It says, buy the Ferrari, man, there'll be less trouble in the long term. Knife with curves, like a woman with Okay, so now that I've done the curves, now we're going to forge them straight. Okay, now all I have to do is straighten everything out. Okay, so the handle is straight. Now I've got to make sure the blade is straight.
Cutting edge is center.
Yeah, I've got to make sure my cutting edges are in the center. That one's not really. That one's quite nice.
You left enough meat.
Heat treating a dagger is a headache, because if your grinds aren't perfectly even on both sides, what happens is that if your grind is uneven, that means the surface area is slightly different on each side. So when you quench it, the surface area that's slightly small, we're talking very small surface area, the blade will walk to the side that's smaller rather than the side that's larger, because that area quenches faster. So when you're doing your grinding, do a coarse grind, leave it thick, quench it, then do your final stock removal to your final shape. Because if you don't, you're going to spend too much time trying to correct with the grinder the big warp that you've got in your blade. But we can fix these now. Simple way to fix any, even on a normal knife. Don't let it be too hot like this is, okay? Let it cool a little. And then go over the whole edge very quickly with small hammer blows. These multiple strikes will slowly start to even out. That side's almost alright. This side's got a little warp in it. For the most part, it's okay. That's straight. That's straight. The only real test is to check it from the end. There you can see what it really looks like. Which is not straight. Sighting it from the handle gives you a false sense of straightness, because the handle's already straight, and that last slight wobbly bit at the end, your brain almost excludes it. If you look at it from the edge, from the tip, then you're only seeing the skew stuff first, and before you see the straight handle. So the best way to test it is when it's cold. You look. When it's hot, you gotta kind of stay away from it so you don't burn yourself. Again, that side.
This might be not like way.
Yeah, but this way. The blade is straight, the handle is skewed. Welcome to the world of forging daggers. Cut slightly. So we're going to heat up the handle in. Notice you can't do this with stock removal. Stock removal, you've got to plan it, you've got to do everything on paper first. But this, if I want to, suddenly if I want to change my mind, I want to make that a hunting dagger. But drop the handle. Why not? You can't do that with ground your blade, you've done everything, you look at it and you think, yeah, it's actually not what I wanted. Dustbin, do it again. But this one I look at it and think, oh, that actually looks crap. Let's change the shape of the handle. more seductive. The dark side it is.
Gives you the joy of this. It's slower.
Ah, here we go. In the middle, subtle. Straight handle.
So it's too fat mushroom each is not skewing your eye as well.
Yeah, and see there now it's warped again. Okay, now I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to forge these trawls up just a fraction more.
There's somebody at the gate. Just behind.
Oh, under Lish.
I'll sort it out.
That didn't do too much damage. Okay, I'm happy with that. Alright, there you go. There's our dagger. Okay, so I'm going to normalize it. Normalizing, for those who don't know, is heating the blade to non-magnetic or critical temperature around about 800 degrees Celsius until a magnet doesn't stick to it. A little magnet on the bottom of the forge there, so we're just going to warm it. I'm also going to turn my oven down now. I'll put it really hot. I'll put it really hot for the bearings, but it doesn't need to be so hot, eh? There's still a little banana in it. Yeah. Love forging. Okay, so that's too hot. I'm going to let it cool. Okay, it doesn't stick. See, that's the correct temperature. Look, it's almost black. So I'm going to let it cool first, and then we'll do it again. Normally we do this 3 times, but today I'm only going to do it once. I'll do this, I'll finish it later when I do more forging and whatnot. But I want to do the handle and stick it in my vermiculite. My vermiculite, there is my vermiculite. I have no idea what it's used for. It's for gardening. Kitty litter, whatever.
A lot of uses for the garden. It's primarily built as an insulator. It's fabricated as an insulating material.
Yes. Okay, so there you go. You got non-magnetic. Okay, the vermiculite, you can use potash, you can use cement powder. I use cement powder for a long time, that works very nicely. Vermiculite's the nicest, especially the fine vermiculite, not the coarse one, because it insulates the hot tang or the portion of the material that's sticking in there, and it causes it to cool very slowly. The slow cooling of steel is annealing. Annealing makes it soft, makes it easy to drill, easy to work. It's different to normalizing, which is de-stressing and rehomogenizing of the grain of the steel after the forging process. which is why you can't go too hot with normalizing. You have to only go to magnetic and not higher. A lot of guys go high and they let it get low and then they leave it there. You've already done the damage by going too high. You need to let it cool again and then bring it up to slowly from, you want to approach your normalizing temperature from below, not from the higher point. You do that 3 times, it breaks up the grain structure of your steel and makes it more fine. When the finer your grain structure, the stronger your knife will be, the easier it will be to harden, then the risk of breaking and cracking is less. So it's just basically ironing out your grain structure, making it nice